What's up, ladies and gents? You know what time of day it is. It's Zebec time, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about Zebec. We're going to be discussing what we are seeing here on the charts, and I'll be giving you guys my price prediction for Zebec over the coming days as weeks, as well as my target for 2025. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you are a new viewer, then welcome to this channel. If you do like this sort of content, hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you are a returning viewer, as always, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you all here. And so, of course, we're going to be diving straight into this video. We're going to be first touching on the shorter term here on Zebec. And as you can see, we have the 1 hour chart right now. And the first thing you guys may or may not have noticed is that while the whole market has been pumping today, we've seen a crazy gain for most of crypto. If you have a look in the top right, for example, we can see that the majority of other coins that we cover on this channel are all in the green. For example, XCN, the one we covered in our previous video, is up 12% for the day. Ethereum is up 13%, for example. Every coin that we cover on this channel has seen some crazy gains, but there has been one exception, and indeed that exception has been Zebec, of course. So of course, at first glance, that might seem bearish for Zebec, and indeed what we have been seeing over the past few days, dare I say it, looks a bit like a downtrend. But I am still particularly bullish here on Zebec, because if we just zoom out a little bit, you can see that this looks more like a correction in some sort of uptrend. At the end of the day, guys, we have pumped nearly 3x since that low there at the end of April. Of course, the prices went from 0.07 cents there to a high of 0.21 cents at the start of May, and basically a 3x. And of course, we are going to see some selling pressure at this point. We're going to see people taking profits. Anyone who bought Zebec for the past few months here, from March onwards, is in profits. So we are going to see some people taking profits, and that's why we've seen the selling pressure that we have. This is completely normal, and in my opinion, I am still bullish here on Zebec in the shorter term. Of course, what we had happen yesterday was pretty bullish for the whole markets. It's clear that the markets found that Fed interest rate decision and the meeting after it a bullish move, and so that's why we've seen a massive pump today. And of course, I think it's only going to be a matter of time before Zebec catches up with the rest of the market. And in fact, if you guys remember, the markets also pumped around the 20th and 21st of April, and in that same time frame we actually saw Zebec going down as other coins like XCN were starting to go up. But of course, if you sold Zebec for other coins as they were going up in this region, then you would have missed out on this mega rally that Zebec did while the rest of the market was moving sideways. So I think something similar is happening right now. Of course, what we are seeing here on the shorter term as well, in my opinion, is some sort of consolidation that looks like this. In fact, this is a falling wedge type pattern, and this is a bullish chart pattern. Of course, we get a price target of this distance if we see a breakout to the upside. It's just the first test of support to the first test of resistance. This measuring tool, we drag it to wherever we could see a breakout. Let's say that happens within the next few days. We could be looking at the price target here on Zebec of 0.23 cents. That's a 24% upside if we see that breakout. Now, that might not sound like much, but this has much more bullish implications if we do see a breakout to the upside. In my opinion, that means we resume this uptrend that we've been seeing since the 23rd of April, and it allows the Zebec price to get much higher. So in other words, if we see a breakout in the shorter term, I don't think the prices are just going to stop at this 0.23 cents level. I think they're going to be going much higher. Of course, the first one for me, if we go on a slightly longer time frame, is this price target here. Of course, this area here on Zebec was a very important resistance. You can see that the price of here on Zebec has come up almost perfectly to test this resistance here on 5 separate occasions. We also have a support connecting the lows of the Zebec price that has happened twice. So in effect, we can treat this as some sort of double bottom pattern or a triangle. It doesn't matter how we treat it, because the price target coming out from that breakout that we had in April is exactly the same. And we could be looking at the price target here on Zebec just based on this chart pattern that we are seeing of 0.33 cents. Now, where the price is right now, that is still a 98% upside. So this is the first price target that I am looking for. Of course, we have already broken out from that, so it should already be in play. Of course, if you are looking for a great place to buy or trade Zebec, Then look no further than the MEX exchange. This is the exchange that I use for all my trading because they have some of the lowest trading fees. They don't require KYC, and for a very limited time only. As you can see from the screen, they're giving every new user a free $20 when they sign up using the link in the description down below. So if you want to make use of that offer, sign up in the link in the description down below. Takes less than a minute to do so. Don't forget to deposit some fiat or crypto into your MEX account, and then they'll give you that $20. So you can, for example, buy some Zebec with it or trade any such breakout. Of course, thank you guys for supporting this channel. Let's get back into this video. So this is the first of many price targets that we have on the longer term here on Zebec. Now, the second one that we could be monitoring comes from a resistance that's placed over here instead of this one here. So if I remove this resistance here, this could now be a setup for a larger double bottom pattern. Of course, we haven't yet broken out of this one, but like I said before, if we break out of that shorter term falling wedge to the upside, this could also mean that we break out from this 0.21 cents level. And of course, if that occurs, we could be looking at this as the price target for Zebec as it starts to break out. And of course, if we do see a breakout past that 0.21 cents level, then we could be looking at this as our price target. Of course, just the first test of support to the first test of resistance. And that here on Zebec gives us a price target of 0.68 cents. Now, of course, what we need to see is as prices break past this 0.21 cents level, that we see an increase in trading volume, something like this, for example, where we see a spike in volume. And we would like to see bullish momentum entering here back into Zebec. And of course, that will give Zebec the best possible chances of hitting these higher price targets. Now, the third and most bullish price target I have for you here, just stemming from the price data that we have on the charts, still stems from something that looks a little bit like this. Of course, we've had this resistance going from the all-time high there at Zebec across like this to connect the February high. As you can see on the shorter term, the prices have started to respect this quite a bit. The prices came up to this resistance perfectly, and we saw a bit of a breakout and a little bit of a consolidation around this resistance before breaking back down. So if we do see a clear breakout past this upper resistance here going across, we could have the most bullish price target just stemming from this chart. And of course, that would give us a price target here on Zebec of up to 0.94 cents. So those are some of the price targets that I'm looking at here from just the price data. Of course, my targets for 2025 still stem from these fib levels. I love the fib levels here on Zebec because, as you can see, they are well respected. And essentially, if we can break past the previous all-time high, the main targets that I'll be looking for here on Zebec is this 2 fib here at 1.8 cents. This is my first price target for Zebec. And my ambitious price target, if we can break past this 1.8 cents level, would be at the 4.8 cents level up there. Of course, I do think that's entirely possible here for Zebec in 2025. We just need to see the right conditions here in crypto. That means we see extreme greed in the fear and greed index. Let's just go on CoinMarketCap. So we need to see this value here on the fear and greed index on CoinMarketCap above 80. That means there's extreme greed in the markets, and that allows Zebec to get the best, and that gives Zebec the best possible chance of reaching those higher price targets. Again, altcoin season index is sitting at 33, so it's an improving picture, but this needs to be above 75, which means altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, and essentially that's going to again give Zebec the best chance to really flourish and hit those higher price targets in 2025. So those are the two main things that we are looking for here, just based on CoinMarketCap. So of course, guys, that is my price update here for Zebec. Just very finally as well, what I'm seeing here on Zebec and what makes me so bullish here, particularly in the shorter term as well, is this sort of structure where we are basically playing it step by step. Let's just go on the 4-hour chart so you guys can see that a little bit better. What we have here on Zebec is that we have a massive zone of support. The prices here of Zebec smashed past this zone of support area to reach that 0.21 cents level. We came back down, and now we're coming into a key support area. So what I think will happen with Zebec is it will test the support and it will bounce back up to the upside, because what I'm seeing now is very similar to what we saw on Bitcoin. The prices here on Bitcoin, as you can see, we have this massive zone of support here, where the price of Bitcoin came down to this level on multiple occasions. And most recently, Bitcoin, when it broke out of that falling wedge, we saw a massive pump past this zone of support here. Prices came back down multiple times to test this zone of support before using it as sort of a springboard to go much higher. And now the main resistance is at the previous all-time high. That's exactly what I see here with Zebec. Of course, we are now testing this massive zone of support. If it can be used as some sort of springboard, I think prices on Zebec are going to hit that 0.21 cents region faster than you guys think. At the end of the day, according to the MACD and plenty of other signals, we are still very, very bullish on the one-day chart, for example. Momentum here is still very strong and it's starting to fade a little bit. So if we see a few more days of bearish behavior on Zebec, then we could see a bearish crossover on the MACD on the one-day chart. But for now, things are looking very strong still, in my opinion, and there's nothing to suggest to me that this uptrend at the moment is broken at all. And so those are my thoughts here on Zebec right now. Of course, in summary, I am short-term and longer-term bullish here on the Zebec price. I think this short-term bearish action that we've been seeing is some sort of correction in this nice bullish pump that we are seeing, and I think we will resume up only sooner rather than later here on Zebec. And I think Zebec will catch up with the market gains that we have seen today. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. So of course, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Do let me know down in the comments if you are holding any Zebec, and otherwise I'll see you guys in my next video.